around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice, and you're now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news, and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot. So grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@CaymanMorrowRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good evening, Cayman. Welcome, 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 welcome one and welcome all. How are you guys?
Thank you for tuning in to another.
Forgot to hit the pause button there. Hello, Trisha. Good evening, Ruth, Dawn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got a lot to discuss this evening. Of course, on everyone's minds are pension payments, and inquiring minds want to know what is going on in the world of pensions. So guess what, folks? We're going to try to break it down here for you and figure this all out. There's a lot of you who've started to get your money, and that is good news, because I totally, see and understand precisely, that people need their funds. I mean, it's quite as simple as that. And so for those of you who've not been receiving your money, I do hear your complaints, and I know that you are very concerned about that. And so we're going to kick off with pensions. We're going to do a Q&A segment tonight. So whatever questions you have, we will do our best to answer those questions for you. First of all, Silver Thatch, I think, has done a phenomenal job. And I want to say, I suppose no one is perfect, but they, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, take it or leave it, have done the best job of all providers in communicating with their clients, providing information. You guys remember that they've come on this show not once but twice, and speaking directly with people. They seem to have been the most organized, with, my apologies. They seem to have been the most organized with their automated messages and getting payments out there as well. So here's what I know. And this is a CMR exclusive. Silver Thatch will be, let me just double check my messages here, paying out the vast majority of their May claims by tomorrow. So about 99% of their customers should have that put in their applications in May, because obviously those are the only ones that they can pay out at this time, will be receiving their money tomorrow. That is fantabulous news, folks. So, they were aiming for today, but apparently there's a lot of stuff, as we said earlier in the week, that happens in the background, including trying to get the best possible rate for their clients. So what that means is, I think this morning we were discussing that some CNB customers hadn't yet received payments. And so I was questioning whether or not that, there was something going on with CNB, and we were assured that not really. It's just that they are trying to get the best FX rate. And so they missed the deadline today to cut off for payments, but they are working around the clock to ensure that the vast majority of you get your money by tomorrow. So fingers crossed, folks. That would be awesome if most of you get your money by tomorrow. And that's people who applied in May. So remember now, we are just at the junction of payouts who applied the 1st of May should have gotten their money by Tuesday, being the deadline. So we would still be like in the first week of May in terms of that 45-day deadline. I don't have such good news as it relates to Fidelity, I'm afraid. And I don't have such good news as it relates to BritK. I have been getting a lot of questions about BritK over the last 2 days. And unfortunately, I wish I had a better answer for you guys. I just simply do not. So I put some feelers out there this afternoon in terms of BritK, and here's some of the responses. And this is just people. The company hasn't officially said anything, but I do know people are saying, you know, they're waiting on their money. And they've had no communication from BritK, unfortunately. So in terms of BritK, you know, people are saying that they're waiting. Someone even put up something on the Cayman Garage page, says, has anyone heard anything about BritK pension? Mine was due in my account on the 17th. Last I heard, problems with some banks sheets and sitting them out from Tuesday. Come on, it's Thursday now, almost Friday. Anyone got through? So a lot of people have been asking, more than not. I mean, one person said that they know of one person, but I have had a ton of people inquiring about BritK. I'll read you some more of the messages because we don't make this stuff up here at CMR. You know, we ain't got time for that, folks. This is the cool hard truth we're telling you. Someone said that Fidelity they told them that they're gonna be processing month end. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense in terms of the 45 days, because the 45 days starts running from the day after you submitted your application. So that's one thing. Others have said they know someone else who hasn't received it, and the 45 days has now passed. So there's that. Let me just have a look at a few other messages that came in about BritK. It's been a lot of questions, to be honest. And all I can tell you is we can certainly reach out to them, which we have already. We can ask them what's going on, what's the dealio here. And if we don't receive a response, there's not much more than that I can do. But we're going to keep at it. We have emailed Miss Amy over at the Department of Labor and Pensions to see if she's aware of anything. So this was another person that just emailed us tonight at 6:31 p.m. And this individual said, good evening. I hope you're doing okay. Just have a question for you. If you know anything about BritK pension withdrawal. Last month they emailed me that my pension is approved and payment will be in the bank on the 16th of June, 2020. Today's the 18th of June and nothing yet. No payment, and I tried to contact them and no one is answering the phone. And I emailed them, but no reply. So this unfortunately seems to be a consistent message over and over and over again from persons who are in need of answers from BritK. And I really wish that they would just reach out to people and, you know, inform the public of what's going on. We had another person message. Let me just see what we got going on here. Let me just see. You know, people are saying that they're waiting on their pension fund. So this other person messaged this morning, no, late last night actually, and they said, Miss Sandy, please help us. This should be brought to the attention of the Premier's office. The law said 45 days. Only they should accomplish it. All of the Marriott and Ritz-Carlton employees are waiting, plus the other companies under BritK. So that's some of the companies that apparently have their pensions with BritK. So again, this person is saying, what's the deal with the payout? And we know that those hotels have obviously shut down, so they're in dire need of receiving funds from BritK. It's just a lot of messages. This one goes on to say, I'd like your assistance. If you could help us to contact BritK Pensions, why until now don't we receive our money? It's supposed to be paid out on the 16th of June, and we receive an email confirmation saying that payment will be deposited by the 16th of June. My whole colleagues at the Marriott until now never heard what is going on. So I wish I had answers for you, but I really do not know what's going on. That was another one. I know I've received some others as well. Here's another one. This was on Wednesday evening at 9:54. Good day, Cayman Mall Road. I want to complain about our pension provider, BritK, who promised us that they'd send their emergency pension fund by June the 16th. Everybody's saying this, so I guess these are people who were with BritK, as stated on their email, but unfortunately they didn't do their part on abiding by the law that was created for this crisis. We did our part in going so we can ease up on the government's responsibilities and worries. So it sounds like this person's overseas now. Now we're back home, and it's uncertain that we can come back to work in Cayman, and we will depend solely in this fund so we and our family can survive this crisis. I hope that you can help us bring this to attention to the right people, and thank you in advance. So another one with BritK. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, and I'm not lying to you guys when I say to you that there are tons of messages. So it seems like what has happened with BritK is they sent out some form of correspondence promising to pay by the 16th, and that simply has not happened. And so now that we're a couple days out from the 16th, people are wondering what's going on. And so those are some of the messages that I've been receiving. There's another one here that said, a lot of us are depending on our pension withdrawal. We don't have a job for almost 3 months. We are in debt and waited for 45 days already, our money, but still now we haven't received it. Thank you so much for your help. Hope you can help us. And this one was BritK again. They said, it's my pension withdrawal, madam. BritK didn't pay on time. The promise to pay us on the 16th. So they've obviously sent out some sort of correspondence to say that they would be paying people by the 16th. I think that's why people are contacting us, because that date has now come and gone, and nothing has happened essentially in terms of the payout. All right, so I'm working on it. I'm asking questions, and we will certainly do our best to find out more about this and see what I can tell you guys. And I'm very sorry that people are being put in this situation where they're waiting on these companies to pay up, because this is straight BS, if you know what I mean. Okay, Trisha, Cecile, Rachel, Caitlin, thank you. What do you do when your 45 days have passed and you still haven't received your money? Caitlin, I would suggest 2 things. Number 1, email the pension administrators to let them know that the 45 days has passed, which they should know. But also email Miss Amy Wollingston. She is in charge of the Department of Labor and Pensions. And we provided her email address a couple days ago, but sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to get it for you guys again. We've emailed her just generally about, the fact that people are concerned that they have not yet received their pension funds and the 45-day deadline has gone. So there's her email address. Email her, copy the premier in if you have to, because listen, they didn't create this law and said, you've got 45 days if you feel like it. You've got 45 days if the sky is blue. It was, you've got 45 days. So if the law says by day 7, you should have received confirmation that your application has been received. By day 14, you should communicate with your clients, your members, to let them know if their application has been approved or not. And then by day 45, they need to have their money. If those targets haven't been met by these pension companies, I would say that you need to report them. And the premier needs to know that the Legislative Assembly has passed legislation that effectively has no teeth. The pension companies are ignoring it, at least some of them. Nothing's being done. And the administrator, the people who the oversight body, if you will, which is the Department of Labor and Pensions, who's responsible for them, likewise doesn't seem to be able to do anything either. And they were in the Legislative Assembly yesterday in front of Finance Committee talking about this fee. Now, as you guys know, Cameron Marwood broke the story that pension companies were charging a processing fee for your application. Unlike the usual management fees that they that's how they make their money off administering the funds, the pension funds, which actually comes out of, it doesn't come out of the assets of the pension funds. In other words, it's not going to come out of your money. It comes out of some other area, basically, for operating expenses. Unlike that, this fee is coming directly out of your pension, your individual pension. Chambers charging $50 per application, and Silver Thatch is charging $25. And the others are charging something as well. I just don't know what those are, but we were able to confirm the one for Chambers, $50, and the one for Silver Thatch is half of that, which is $25. And so this apparently was agreed to and it was signed off. Now members of the opposition are claiming that, they don't like this and this seems to be news to them, which I find peculiar, because if it was agreed upon or if it's in the law or the regulations, wouldn't the same people sitting in the LA have seen those laws and regulations and know that the pension companies had agreed with the Department of Labor and Pensions to charge this fee? I'm lost here, and I will speak to a member of the opposition to try to get some clarity on what they're saying. But nonetheless, they brought it up in Finance Committee yesterday. So now they're making a big stink about it because the people, saw the article that we did and you started to make a big stink about it. But it's kind of like making a big stink about it after the fact, because it's already a done deal. The government has already agreed to this and they've been already taking it out of your pension money. So why are we making a big deal about it now that you can't do anything about it? Seems a bit nonsensical to me. But that's what was happening yesterday in the Legislative Assembly. So in terms of, let me just see your questions, because this is a Q&A segment. Caitlin says Silver Thatch has been saying that from Monday, Sandy, every day is tomorrow. Well, I haven't heard that yet, but I can tell you, I got it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that they will be paying out the majority of persons who applied in May tomorrow. One person just messaged me and said Chamber Pension, which is held or managed by MUFG, has paid out most of my staff 2 weeks earlier than promised. So they're, for some people, at least 2 weeks ahead of the deadline. I've heard a few other people, not that many complaints about Chamber, to be honest, but a few people said that they've passed the deadline with Chamber as well and they've not received their funds. So double check your paperwork, make sure you gave them the correct account number, because maybe there's something that's holding it up from the bank's perspective. So you got to make sure that you have given them correct information. If I don't get my money here shortly, I'm going to be like, did I send it to the right bank? I mean, I know my bank details, so Um, Apply from the 12th of May and still haven't heard from Fidelity. That's not good, Tanisha. Please contact Amy. Nancy says, hope the day went well for you. Oh, yes. Thank you, Nancy. I will address that now. So my testimony is finally over. Thank you, Jesus. That was like 3 days on the sand, 2.5 days. It's a lot of questions and a lot of talking and a lot of back and forth. And you answer a question, the prosecution doesn't like the answer. That's not what I'm asking you. And they come at you again, they reword it, they come at you from a different angle. And all I can tell you is the truth shall prevail, one way or the other. And the most interesting thing I found that came out of today's discussion, or not today's discussion, but the actual trial, was the prosecution putting the question to me that no matter the outcome of this trial, you're not going to stop writing about Mr. Leslie, are you? And that was what she was asserting. And I was like, I don't understand. Is this trial, like I've always said, really meant to shut me up permanently? Is that the aim here? Because if that's the aim, it's not going to work. So why would you be asking me that question? Like to me, it was a very odd question to ask me. If I intend to continue, I'm like, if Mr. Leslie does something that is newsworthy and bears reporting on, I'm going to report on it. So this is really about trying to shut down CMR and trying to shut up CMR. Is that, I mean, in my head, that's what I was hearing. And so I briefly mentioned it this morning that the DPP's office has decided to move forward with 2 additional charges, 2 totally separate cases against me. I don't have any documentation in those as yet, but one is related to the Mendoza guy. You guys remember, what's his name again? Oh God. I can't remember the first name, whatever. The guy in West Bay that was wreaking havoc for the past 3 years on the Adams family, Mike Adams and his wife, Miss Lisa, and their entire family. So he has done the most. He's had his kids throwing rocks at the Adams family, using profanity, all this stuff, and he has never been arrested, never been touched. I think they took him to court for a potential assault of one of the sons of Mr. Adam, but of course he got off. And so now they're dragging me in court, to court in relation to the protest that we did for that. I can't remember the exact name of the charges because these are completely new to me, but something about inciting violence, I believe, and something else. So there's like 2 charges there. And then there's another podcast that we did. So that was a live stream. There was another podcast that we did. I don't know if you guys remember the guy in Honduras who was claiming that his wife was cheating on him and she was HIV positive and he was coming in the show and blah, blah, blah. So he was a no-show. And we said, listen, we had booked the show. So we just put the evidence out there. Obviously, we contacted her, gave her an opportunity to respond, to come on the program if she wanted to. She didn't want to, and she didn't have much to say. And so she's no longer even in the Cayman Islands. And they're moving forward with that case as well. So they're coming hard, folks, in 2020, but we have to remain steadfast with the truth and just know that, we're up to probably like case number 8, 9, or 10 by now. I saw someone named Athena Robinson, I think is her name. You guys remember, she's the sister of the immigration officer who was convicted in that whole English language test scandal. And so because we had done a number of stories about her sister, since then she's had it out for me personally and for CMR. And so I saw her comment on somebody's page today that apparently we are snitches for the police and that's why they don't touch us. I'm thinking, what alternative reality does this woman Athena live in? The police don't touch me. Who else in Cayman do you know, honestly, that has had 8, 9, and 10 cases brought against them? Just because they haven't won any doesn't mean that they haven't tried. They bring case after case and they come at me all the time. So I don't know what Athena is talking about. I'm no police snitch. And trust me, they have no issues with, in conjunction with the DPP's office, dragging me to court. It's just they've never won. So that says more probably about the frivolousness of what they're trying to bring against me and maybe some incompetence in some instances than anything else. It doesn't mean that they don't try. So Athena, I don't know what to say about that, but you need to think about what you're saying because it doesn't make any sense. let me see some of your other questions. Hey, Charles, Christine, Karen, thank you so much. Karen, I need to figure out if you're the Karen that is Kayla's and Carla's sister and daughter. You need to message me because they said, oh, Karen is, and I think it's, but I have two Karens that are very active on the chats. So I actually don't know if it's you, Karen, or the other Karen. So I want to clarify that because I want to know which one. Icon says fidelity, fidelity, fidelity. Shame, 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 Icon is all I can tell you. They are just not with it. Christine said I got a text from Silver Thatch saying 48 hours and money will be in my account. Wasim, thank you so much. Rachel says it's just nothing from Fidelity. And that's just it with Fidelity. From what I've heard, by and large, they've had no communication with people, which is just so weird. Weird and illegal, I should say. Because God knows, they should be communicating. You know, it's that simple, really. But yeah, they're not. And so it's quite unfortunate, I think. Very sad, very unprofessional. And I think for those of you who own businesses and you're looking at this situation, perhaps this is now your opportunity to say, I think that I need to change pension companies. Go with a pension company that when the ish hits the fan, they're going to be there and they're going to be doing what they need to be doing as a pension company. Straight up. It's easy as pie. Yvonne is also saying good night, nothing from Fidelity. I submit no calls to this day. Charles is saying, I'm wondering what Caymanians will do when they find out the truth about their pensions. Where's the government during this time? Why is the premier silent? Why is the leader that is supposed to be looking out for Caymanians? Hi, Maureen. Thank you for tuning in. Charles says, listen to this show. There's a lot of people asking Sandy to help them solve their issues. She's doing more than the government that many of you voted for. But let me say, I hope that you all come and stand up for her when that comes, that she needs you all, when the time comes that she needs you all. Let me say something in terms of standing up, and I appreciate that, Charles, very, very much, because Charles, of all people, know that, you know, I put my neck on the chopping block for a lot of people, and it's most often not my concerns or my issues at all. I saw Mr. George Ebanks show up today to court. And of course, those of you who've been following the situation with George knows that he's got a thing for me. And so he thinks that, you know, I guess if he trolls me, it's going to somehow make a difference. But George is upset first because in the last election, I pointed out he's planning on running for election. And I think he mentioned it to someone in the community. And I pointed out that George can never run for election again because he was actually convicted of a fraud on the Cayman Islands government of signing documents. And once you've been convicted of any kind of dishonesty offense, that's in the elections law, you are never eligible to run for public office. Never. It's like a lifetime ban. And so he got upset because I reminded this individual, and I guess by extension reminded the general public, that that was the case and reminded them of his conviction. It's like people think that, you know, time just erases everything. And unfortunately, per the law, it doesn't erase certain types of convictions. So for the purpose of him doing other things in life, he can go out there and do whatever he wants. But for the purposes of running for public office, and you could see why a dishonesty offense would be one that would be very, very critical in, you know, for anyone in the holding of a public office to not ever have been convicted of. So that was the first thing that George got his panties in a bunch about. And then the other thing is recently we were in a Newlands group together and he started attacking me about something. I don't even know what it was. And I said to him, I said, George, you know, as a man who has admitted publicly that you've suffered from depression, you know, you did a whole full page ad on this, that you were in a depressive state for a couple years and you talked about your journey. I would think that you would probably want to spend more time focused on that and the allegations that are wide in the community, widely known in the community about your abusive treatment of women. And I said this in the group. He's coming at me, and I'm like, why are you hyper focused on me? You and I should have no issues, George, but if you want to go there, let's talk about the ex-wife that was almost beat to a pulp. Let's talk about, the girlfriends and the others who've talked about your abusive nature. And so he showed up to court today. I appreciate the support. We know it wasn't meant to be supportive, but I will take it as support. And I will thank George for coming. And we put up a nice little, thank you, George, for coming to court today. We can't speak to your motives because those are questionable, but you know what? You were there. And at the end of the day, being present and being there, I think there's so much that one could learn if you're objective and you're sitting there listening to whatts happening. All Caymanians at some point in their lives should go to court and should see how trials are done, see how your Caymanians are handled, mostly by foreign staff, by the way. And, they're the people who are running your judiciary. Those are people who are running your police. And so you need to have that experience. I mean, even if you've never personally been taken to court yourself or you've never personally been arrested, immerse yourself a little bit in some of it so that you can understand what is happening in the judiciary and in the penal system overall. So from that perspective, I'm very thankful that he came. And so we did a little post, on social media, thanking him for coming and, I would say encouraging others to come out and stuff as well. So poor George decided to contact the police. I mean, everything now, it's like, contact the police. The police officer's like, ma'am, I don't even know why I'm calling you, but this man said we need to call you and he's not going to stop calling until we do. I'm like, okay. Do you say anything wrong with the post? No, ma'am. And that's what we told him. We don't say anything wrong with it. It's not harassment. It's not threatening. It's none of those things. But this is a thing now. Everything is, call the police and Sandra, call the police and CMR. And it's just so frivolous and so absolutely ridiculous and wasting police resources as though they have nothing else to do with their time. And then the amazing thing is people like George, they have so much mouth on social media. He thinks that he can attack me and he can say whatever he wants, but then he calls the police to work on his behalf and to threaten me and to warn me. It's like, and all the stuff that you're saying is what? It's just amazing how our people think. Shemin, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry if it isn't. Says, Rachel, it's the same thing with me. I sent them an email and no answer. This is so disappointing. I got to tell you the truth here. And Rachel says they're not answering calls or emails. And I've sent a few. I'm so angry. 7 weeks and no call or email. Wow. Fidelity. I mean, you've got to say something to the people. Or the Department of Labor and Pensions has got to say something to the people. This is ridiculous. Joanne says that she submitted her paperwork in time, May the 1st to be exact. Still have not received my money, and I've been calling Silver Thatch, and every day they have a different excuse. So there's one person who's saying Silver Thatch has not paid them yet. Rachel says that, Sandy, the problem is Fidelity isn't responding to anyone, and that's a serious problem. I dare say, at least with Silver Thatch, I mean, you probably received 2 or 3 emails from them confirming once the application was received, confirming that it was approved, and confirming that a payout is coming soon. So I would say they are working feverishly to get that done. So Bertha says, thank you all you do. Thank you so much, Bertha. She says, thank you for all that you do for us. And listen, I'm not sitting here telling you I'm perfect and I'm not without fault. Even in my role at CMR, I'm admit when I'm wrong. And Sandra, thank you so much for the support. Sandy Whitaker joining us tonight. And yeah, but I do really try my best to be there for the people and to try to get, sometimes it's just a matter of a phone call or an email or, and a lot of persons know when CMR is on it, listen, you better get your shit sorted out because we will expose you. And there is a certain element to that people are afraid of, whether they're a company or an individual or whatever, and they tend to act accordingly. And so that gets stuff done. Christine, thank you so much. She says, thanks for all the information. Vicky says that Silver Thatch has been amazing and the others have been terrible. Definitely Fidelity is terrible. Brit K is a second runner-up for award for terrible. And I think Chamber, for the most part, I'm going to give Chamber a pass. Like, I'm going to give Chamber a B. Silver Thatch, an A, not an A plus, because things have happened and we've heard, there's one complaint here about Silver Thatch. But in terms of overall, I think Silver Thatch has done a phenomenal job. Fidelity failing, big F, plus, plus, plus. Brit K, I would give Brit K a D minus if I were a teacher and grading them on performance. So, yes, not impressive at all. And this can't be that difficult because listen to me, Brit K and Silver Thatch are not the largest pension companies. The largest pension companies are Chamber and, Brit K and Fidelity are not the largest companies. Chamber and Silver Thatch are the two largest pension companies on Island. So I would say that of those two, if you were going to have widespread complaints and widespread issues, I would have expected it from those two. And Vicky's saying that she has not had a word from Chamber. Vicky, I want you to DM me on WhatsApp because I've got some contacts for MUFG, and they're the ones who actually are the administrators for the Chamber Pension Fund. Yvette wants to know about BAF. I've heard some complaints about BAF. So if I was grading them, I would probably give them a C. But let's see. This person says, I applied to Silver Thatch on May the 1st, received 2 approval emails, but nothing else. Funds should have been released by the 15th. But the 15th was a public holiday. So because the 15th was a public holiday, it would then be the 16th. And guess what, folks? I got a treat for you. Hold on. Device not connected. I'm waiting until she's connected in. I'm waiting. You guys are gonna like this. Christine says Silver Thatch is the best. I just emailed my BAF connection. I'm gonna see if they get back to me at any point during the show. So let's give a second. We got a surprise. There we are. So listen, folks, I keep telling you guys, I would give Silver Thatch an A. And guess who is now joining us live and direct? Let me take out the Seek Out Sandy so we can see a little bit better there. Alice from Silver Thatch. Saxon,
Hey.
thank you so much. How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Now listen, I was given my personal grading of the pension providers. Silver Thatch, in my opinion, gets an A. I would give Chamber a B because I have heard some complaints about Chamber. Fidelity, unfortunately, gets a big fat F plus plus plus. And BAF, I would probably say maybe a C. And then Brit K, a D. And I don't know who else is out there. There's some smaller ones, I think CNB has a CNB has a pension fund. I've heard that they paid out. So tell us, Alice, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been super busy. What's going on? What's the latest? What can you inform people of?
So we are still processing payments, and I apologize if there's any feedback. I don't have my headphones, but we are working hard every day. We've had a few return wires, so we'll be processing checks for those. We haven't announced it yet, but we will be opening our office on Saturday between 10 and 3 for those who aren't able to make it to the office tomorrow to collect their checks. It's a lot to deal with. We've received quite a number of emails and phone calls over the last few days. So, if someone hasn't received a response yet, it's just because our inbox has been flooded. So, since the public holiday on Monday, everyone's been following up on their payment. And, for a number of different reasons, people forgot the type of payment they selected. We're still having to make changes where, someone's last name changed, they can't cash a check, or they need to visit our office, or a payment was returned, and it's just trying to get the information there as soon as possible. But it's
Right.
just a lot.
So you've had, Alice, situations where people have given you incorrect account numbers, account numbers that are not valid accounts at all. So all of these things delay the process.
Yeah, frozen accounts that's not in their name.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's a human mistake. Some people didn't know, that happened, and obviously we sent the payment and then in return. So we're just having to deal with it as we go. So, like I said, for any return payments, we'll be issuing a check.
Right. So, and of course, everyone's just thinking about their own. And do you know at this point how many applications you've received up to, I guess, this point, or even just in the month of May? Like, how many applications are we talking about?
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure we received over 10,000 in May. Right now, we're over 11,000. So that's including May. So yeah, it's quite a lot.
So that's roughly about half of your overall pension membership, because I think you've got over 28,000.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
More or less. Yeah. So that's a lot of applications. And even in an ideal world where everything is done correctly, how big is your team? I know you've had to bring on additional staff during this time.
Yeah, we've had to double our team. I don't even have the numbers right now. I just remember when we went over it, we doubled our team. There was no way that we could process that many applications with our current staff. Process that many applications, answer phone calls, answer emails, actually process the payments. So we had to take on more staff.
Okay. And I know for a fact that you guys have been working around the clock, because sometimes late in the night, I'm messaging you and you're still working at it and trying to get stuff done. So, and then add on to that, the fact that people have made some errors, some mistakes and whatever, you had to verify IDs. One of the questions I had about the ID verification, is that a manual process, or is that being done by like artificial intelligence?
I wish we were at that stage. Okay. Maybe it's coming. But no, it is a very, very manual process. It's actually reviewing the member's application, the document, their account, their employment history. It's quite a lot that goes into it. It's not just a 1-minute job for each application. It probably takes about 10 minutes per application. So
right. And then the payouts were based on the May statements. Now, a lot of people still aren't really clear on this. I know we've gone over this before, but when someone applies, it's like whatever month they applied in, that's the month that the statement has to come from for the payout. So if they applied,
they're making a redemption request that month, so that month is the value that they'll receive.
Okay, and I understand that the NAV value, the NAV for May was a little bit higher than April, so the performance was better.
Yeah,
which is good, because I think a lot of people initially had seen their April statements and they were kind of making all sorts of crazy comments.
Actually, April was good as well. So I think we're talking about March.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one spoke about April.
Yeah. So April and May, they saw gains.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how long does it normally take? And I know every pension company must be different, because some people are saying that there's some pension providers that don't actually give them a statement until 2 months out. But for you guys, once you receive that, say, for example, May statement, normally you get that within the first couple of days in June. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's so we got it early June, and then we ran the redemptions, then we posted the statements just to help customers, know what their payout was going to be. So it again, that everything takes time. So
yeah,
but we tried to publish the information as soon as it was available.
All right, I'm just seeing if there's any questions here. So one person says that they have received 2 emails. They applied on the 1st of May. They received 2 approval emails, but nothing else. Funds should have been received by the 15th. So I've said, well, the 15th being a public holiday, it would have been the 16th. So the 16th was kind of the first day of the payouts for May the 1st, which was the first day that people can actually apply for emergency funds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Department of Labor and Pensions had. So
we
did, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just about to say we've been processing payments every single day.
Yeah. So what percentage of payments would you say up till today have been paid out?
About 65 to 70% have been paid out.
And that's for the entire month of May?
Yes.
Okay. Because just to be clear, again, if you were going strictly by the 45-day deadline, you could take your time and pay those out, because it's like, you're still in the first week. Today's the 18th. So Tuesday, today's Thursday, Tuesday being the first 45 day, if you applied on May the 1st, you're still really, technically, if you were going by the 45 days, paying out for the first week of May. But you guys have been doing it in advance, basically. You've been working ahead and paying out, whatever you can. For people.
I mean, thanks to technology, we're able to send out group, well, I wouldn't say group, like almost like payroll type payments. The checks have been all prepared. So it's just, they're speaking with the different companies and following their processes as well as ours. And it just takes time. If we could send everything in the snap of a finger, we would, but that's not how it works.
Right. And can you explain, just for the benefit of our viewers, what are some of the roadblocks? Because obviously you have to deal with banks. So just tell us how the process works. Because people, like you said, I think people have a very basic understanding. They just want their money. I mean, a lot of people may not even care, but there's so much more that happens in the background. So how do you affect a payment? Like, what's the process? Do you just have all this money sitting in your bank account, $140+ million, that you can just say, okay, send 10 million of that to Sandy's account, I wish. But how does it work?
Yeah, so I mean, a member makes a redemption request, and then we have to basically sell those units. So then we have to receive those funds from our investment manager. That takes some time. We receive the funds, then we need to basically enter the redemption request in the system. Probably going into too much detail. Then we send basically a request to the bank to either process the payment through like a direct deposit, or we prepare a check, or we have some members who requested international wire transfers. So then we have to also enter those requests. In terms of doing the payroll type method of payment, there are limitations on that. How much we can process. It's just everything takes time. It cannot be done in one day. And it's just speaking to different parties. So, it's easy for me and you to speak, but then when we get, 5 other people involved, and we all each have to do something, it just takes a little bit of time to coordinate what everyone needs to do.
Right. And then of course the banks, I'm assuming, have probably had to have additional staff on board in those particular departments, like internal wires or whatever, to be able to process those payments and make sure that they go to the right account. So there's a lot of moving parts to this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been great. All of the banks have been doing an amazing job. So, I mean, one thing that we're really just asking people to do is just to be patient. We basically processed majority of our payments within this week. And we're hoping to process practically all of the payments for May's applications by tomorrow. So it's just be patient. We understand that, there are some members who are in dire need, and we're really working hard to get them their money. Awesome.
So Alice, let's have some positive comments here. Christine says, good job, Alice, and 2 little heart emojis. Victoria says, it's amazing that Alice is always the one that comes on. What about the others? Victoria, I wish I could answer that for you. And we have invited them on, and they basically said they were too busy. And Alice, despite being, I'm sure, just as busy or busier, has always made the time to try to come on and just explain to people what's going on. So Jason says, hello, good night, Sandy. I'm still waiting on Silver Thatch to send my money to account to Scotiabank, but nothing yet. It was approved. What's wrong? So hopefully, Jason, you've just gotten a little bit more information. Alice has confirmed that most of the payments should go out tomorrow. Now, if something happens and people don't get it by, say, Monday, should they contact you guys? Is that an indication that something might be wrong?
Yeah, for sure. I would say give us either a call or send us an email.
Okay. All right, Jason. So hopefully that helps. Diana, sorry. So she's waiting on her money and she applied May the 1st. Kadian, I think, said, good job, Alice. You have good customer service. I like you. Thumbs up about that. They are the best. Vicky, I applied with Chamber on the 4th and I got a rejection on the 20th. Read my signature. Then they said the process starts again from the rejection date. That can't be right. How does that process work if your application was rejected for some reason?
Yeah, that Chamber is right. So if an application is rejected, perhaps someone attached the wrong ID or provided incorrect bank details. Basically, the person will have to resubmit an application, and countdown begins again. Yeah.
One thing that I saw happen, which I thought was a little bit unfair, is a person's application was denied because of an error. The ID was rejected, and then when we reached out to that pension administrator, they admitted that there was actually nothing wrong with the ID. I think at first they were saying something about the notary, and then they came back and said, "Oops, that was a mistake. It should have been denied." But then they told the person to reapply, and I thought that was a bit unfair since that was an error.
You mean it should have been approved if they provided a notarized ID?
Yeah, so they provided the notarized ID. They denied the application based on stating that there was something wrong with the ID. So I can't remember exactly what it was, something with the notary, because I had notarized it. So the person contacted me. And when I reached out to this pension company, they're like, oh, I think we've made a mistake. There's actually nothing wrong with it. So just tell the person to reapply. And I'm thinking, why, when it was your mistake? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know the entire, we're just talking what ifs but if the correct ID was provided, maybe it was just an administrative error.
No, definitely. They comped to that and said, we've been processing a lot of applications. Where my issue was, why force that person to reapply so that their clock starts ticking all over again? Because now they've lost like a week or a week and a half application. So just on the side. So Evelyn says, love her too. She's so confident, perfect for the position she holds. Most of us don't even know what your position is at Silver Thatch.
It's actually at Saxon, and it's a chief customer officer.
What's the difference between Saxon and Silver Thatch? Because I hear people sort of using it interchangeably. They're obviously connected companies. Saxon is the insurance side.
Yeah. So we have an insurance department as well as a pensions department.
Okay.
1 second.
That's okay.
Yeah, we have an insurance department as well as a pensions department.
Okay.
And Silver Thatch is actually a trust, so we are an agent for Silver Thatch Pensions.
Okay. We'll see. There we learn something new. So Nicole says, Mina P patient on a 2 damn teeth, kiss my teeth. Oh, Nicole, be nice now. Cynthia says, good job, Alice and her team. Althea, sorry. I think I missed a comment here. Let me just back up. Right. Kelly says, I applied 48 days ago and I still haven't got my pension payment as yet. Kelly, if it's with Silver Thatch, Alice has recommended that you reach out to them if you don't get it after tomorrow, because by tomorrow they should have most payouts done. Jacqueline agrees that you guys have great customer service. Althea says, BritK isn't responding. Alice is amazing. Thanks a lot. And so are you guys sending out some sort of email correspondence that says money's going to be in the account within 48 hours?
Yeah. So after we process a payment, we send an email notification that the money's been issued.
Okay. So if I haven't received my emails yet, should I be worried?
I can
out tomorrow.
Yeah, you should receive it tomorrow.
Okay. Because I haven't really checked all my emails today because I was kind of in and out of court, but I'll have a quick look. But I didn't see anything pop up on the phone. So Karen says, I think it's this Karen that I'm looking at. Karen Bennett, please let me know if you're family to Carla and Kayla. DM me, because I think you're the Karen that I'm actually looking for. But this Karen says, honestly, that 45-day threshold that government gave was a bit unreasonable in my opinion. What do you say to people who think 45 days was unreasonable?
I can understand, looking from the outside, looking in from the outside, that 45 days might seem like a lot, especially if, they think that the money is readily available and they don't understand that the money is invested, needs to be liquidated, and then we need to actually pay those funds out. So we're also processing applications and doing other administrative stuff, but it's not as simple as someone might think that, we received their application today and we can cut a check tomorrow. That's not how it works. So, I mean, yeah, like I can appreciate their concerns with the time frame, but, also asking them to, try to understand that there's a lot going on in the back end and that we're working as fast as possible.
And also because of that whole situation with the redemption date being in the month that you've applied, there's no way really to do it before 45 days, because in this instance, if you do it from the 1st of May, you need to wait until May's statement is available. So you've got to wait the 30 days, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. So hopefully, Karen, that explains that a little bit. Let's see who else we've got here. Christine saying she's got her email about 48 hours. So hopefully, Christine, by tomorrow, you'll have your money. Alice, can you please give, Vicky says, a big thank you to Joanna. Very professional and helpful.
Yeah, I will.
She'll pass that along. And thank you so much. Matthew, are we talking pensions? Matthew, you're late. We're almost done talking pensions, but yes, we are. Hustlin Michelle says, great job, Alice. Love you. Why is it we're not hearing from BAF? Now, I told you guys I have a contact at BAF, so give me 1 second. I'm going to check my phone because I did see that she responded. And so BAF has said that they're going to be released tomorrow, but I started paying checks for the past 3 days and asked if people were complaining, and I said yes. So money should be in the account by tomorrow. So tomorrow, folks, is Friday. I'm going to make sure it's not Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 19th of June. And it looks like a lot of people are going to get some money. Listen, folks, don't go out and drink all your money away. Don't go partying over the weekend because, we're going to level 2 suppression on Father's Day. You guys are going to go crazy with your little pension money. Save it and spend it wisely. Don't go hogs wild because it's got to last a while. And this is going to probably be the only dip into your pension that you will get. So this is it, folks. Make it stretch as far as you can and really use it for essential things. Victoria says, Alice, great. That gives great information. So thank her for that. But also she is super cute. There you go, Alice. Victoria, she is engaged, so I'm not sure. So Jeanette, yes, you should be getting your money by tomorrow. Valissa says, I've been Team Silver Thatch from the beginning. These ladies are superstars. I was a bit disappointed this week with them, but overall, the best by far. Karen wants to know in terms that the pension providers would not have capacity to meet it. Oh, I see, about the 45 days. I think it was cutting it close, but there's obviously a lot of pressure on the pension administrators.
Yeah.
Silver Thatch is the best #1 pension company, says Simone. Agree with Alice, says Karen. Anne says that I'm with Silver Thatch and I submitted on June the 1st, got a reply on the 2nd saying that my application has been received. So next week will be my 14 days to know whether or not it was approved.
Okay. Can you ask her to check her junk mail, please?
Yeah, so she applied in June the 1st.
Yeah, but still ask her to check her junk mail, please.
Okay, and just make sure that there's no emails floating around in your junk mail folder. Katie Ann says Silver Thatch. She said, people, Silver Thatch is the way to go, in my opinion. JD Whitaker says, awesome job, Alice. I haven't gotten an emails yet. JD, are you with Silver Thatch? Just to clarify. Sue wants to know what's going on with CNB Bank. If RBC is giving their clients on Tuesday, all applied same time as well. So there was some question about this. This came up in the morning show that people were saying, like, Sue has 2 daughters. They both applied the exact same day to Silver Thatch. One is with CNB and one is with RBC. She got the RBC one already and the CNB one hasn't been paid out. Is there a difference with the banks and how it's being handled?
No, it's just how we're sending the funds. So it's just different days we're sending to different banks. So tomorrow that should be resolved.
All right, Sue. So tell that one daughter she'll get her money tomorrow, and then you guys can have a little family party this weekend for Father's Day. Matthew says BritKid was great up until the last day that they said the money would be in my account, and it's not there. Well, Matthew, let's give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Fidelity, BritKid, everyone until tomorrow, and let's see what happens after tomorrow. So on Monday we can have this conversation again to see where you guys are at with your payments. Sue says, great news, well done. Hustlin says, thanks for the information, Sandy. Lisette says, good evening, all. Would you be so kind and help me spreading the voice? Spreading the voice about what, Lisette? Do tell us some more, oh, is this spam, Lisette? We don't like spam here in Cayman Mall Road. I don't know what the voice is. Christine, I have to save mine so that I can get my ticket to go back on island. So Christine, you're not here. Perla says, I have faith in my pension. Well done, Silver Thatch. Why not change the name to Golden Thatch? Now, Perla, that is funny. I got to tell you. Natasha, JD, send me your email address, and you've got my WhatsApp details. I'll send it to Alice for you, and she'll check and see, what's going on, why you may not have gotten any email correspondence. Simone, thank you for tuning in. Lisette says we need 5 more people. Okay, now you're making sense. You got to tell us what's going on, because you might have gotten blocked because we thought you were spam there. We need 5 more people to make a charter to Mexico happen. And we need to catch a humanitarian flight. All right, folks. So if you're Mexican and you would like to go back home, please reach out to Lisette. It looks like she has a group set up for that purpose, and they're trying to arrange a humanitarian charter flight back to Mexico, and they need 5 more people to make it happen. So spread the word, folks. If you've got any friends that you know are from Mexico, Lisette, send me something, and I'll post it on our CMR page as well. So Valissa wants to know, do you need email confirmation before funds are received? So if you haven't received that email, should you be worried, or will the funds just be there tomorrow?
I would say just check tomorrow evening. I actually need a run now, but
okay.
Thank you for
All
inviting
me.
me.
Well,
okay.
Again, thank you so much, Alice. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks again, guys. Alice is really the best. Nald says BritKid's missing in action. Natasha, I'm waiting as well. They're keeping people waiting, and that's not good. At least communicate with people. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, nobody's perfect at the end of the day, but communicate with people, let people know what's going on. And, people will be accepting of a reasonable explanation, but it's when you don't respond, when you don't say anything, that people start to go, what's going on? Why are you hiding? Where's my money? So Shadeen, yeah, CNB payment should be in your account tomorrow, not just for May the 1st payments, but Alice has basically said for 99% of individuals, unless you've requested a check, which you can pick up at the office and they're going to be open. She did mention for some hours on Saturday to distribute checks. So if you've asked for direct bank deposits and they have all your correct information, 99% of the people who applied in May, so all of May, will be receiving their money tomorrow from Silver Thatch. So please keep an eye out on your accounts And I would say if by tomorrow evening you don't have it, then you can reach out to Silver Thatch. Yes, JD, send me your information. Roshan says, thanks, Golden Thatch. You got a new name for them. And Natasha's encouraging Alice and the rest of her team to keep up the good work. And Arita is with CNB. So again, hopefully all CNB customers. I'm a CNB customer. Big up to CNB. You guys know I love me some CNB. So yes, I appreciate Alice coming on again with literally no notice tonight. I just said, hey, Alice, we're going to be talking about pensions. We've had a lot of questions. And so we are hopeful that, you can come on and talk to people. And she was actually in a board meeting and, halfway through the show, she said, is the show still happening? I said, yep, we're on now. She's jumped in the conversation. Folks, that's the kind of customer service that we need. People who are flexible, who are willing to talk directly to the people. There's nothing to hide here, just frank disclosure. Tell us what's going on. And that's it. That's all people want. All right, folks, that's our hour for this evening. You've been listening to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. I want to thank you all so much for tuning into the program. As you guys know, I'm back in court tomorrow, finished with my evidence. So tomorrow they start closing arguments. I still have to be there, obviously, as a defendant, to listen to all of it. And we're going to do a story, I think, tonight covering some of what transpired. And just stay steadfast. Fidelity, failure, F+++. We'll send them another email to see if they're willing to say anything at all to the people of this country in terms of what is going on with their money. Be safe, folks, and thank you for listening to the program.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.